We're on patrol with the Chief. Join Chief Charlie Beck for a conversation regarding the Chief's message for the month of July 2015. Sir, here we are in July. Coming up on our schedule is the World Games Special Olympics beginning on July 25th.
Absolutely right, Jack. This is the largest athletic event to come to Los Angeles since the 1984 Olympics. As a matter of fact, it's the largest athletic event in the nation this year. We will have literally thousands of participants and tens of thousands of supporters here. It's a huge event. It takes place all over the LA basin, and I hope everybody that's watching this gets involved.
As a department, how are we preparing for this event?
We've worked through an exhaustive planning process, taking a full-time efforts of a police commander to make sure that this will not only be a safe event, but it'll be a well-run and a fun event. All of us have an opportunity to become involved. You know, many athletes are sponsored by members of this police department. People from all over the world will be competing. And if you pick some of the events to go to, you're going to see them, and you're going to see them at their best.
And sir, our torch runs, we've had tremendous participation in all of our divisions.
What a great, great thing to do. And Los Angeles police officers were involved with it every step of the way. We had a number of police officers that not only came in as reserves, but also full-time to work this and to make sure that the torch run went off without a hitch. As a matter of fact, I got to stand in front of Parker Center when Juvenile Division brought the torch in. I was just in awe of the effort they put forward and the enthusiasm that they have.
Now, just recently, I mean, this is really incredible. You were awarded a 40-year pin. Congratulations.
Well, you know, if nothing else, I'm durable, right? So, 1975, the first time I put on this uniform, I was a reserve officer assigned to Rampart. I was also a civilian employee at the Rampart Station. It was a very different time, but it was the same police department. It was a police department that believes in its community. It's a police department made up of brave men and women who risk their lives to keep people safe every day.
The department has changed physically and demographically over the years, has it not?
And, you know, we are a true reflection of the changes in the city. Nothing stays the same, and Los Angeles Police Department certainly changed and has changed. You know, our demographics almost exactly match the city of Los Angeles. I'm very proud of that because I think that we reflect the city in a way that no other entity does. Our equipment has changed dramatically. When I started, there was no out-of-vehicle radios. You know, the only radio you had was attached to a car just like this, and if you left the car, you had no communication. You know, and we left the car quite a bit, so many times you relied on the kindness of strangers if you needed help, or your ability to get to a phone.
You've been on the job long enough to know that the ups and downs of the department affects morale within our divisions. How are the people in the city feeling about the cops doing their job?
If there's anything I know on this whole world, it's LA cop. I am one, I'm the son of one, I'm the father of two. I know why you came on this job. I know that if you wanted an easy policing job, there's a lot of other agencies you could have gone to where the conditions are better, the pay might even be a little bit more, and it's certainly much less hazardous. But that's not where you went. You became a Los Angeles police officer. And first of all, I know how tough it was to get that badge. And I also know how much all of you respect the badge and those that wear it. And I know you will keep working because that's what we do. That's who we are. At the core of Los Angeles police officers is a work ethic that is unmatched in policing because we believe in this city and we want to make it safe.
It's amazing about the impact we have, not only in crime, but the impact that we have on people's lives, such as that young man who lost his braces in Newton Division.
Analia Ramirez talks in Spanish to reporters about her possessions that were stolen from her car on the morning of June 9th. The most important item belonged to her 9-year-old son Giovanni, his orthopedic leg braces that he relies on for walking due to his cerebral palsy.
Well, one of the trademarks of this police department is that we have big hearts. You know, we see tough things every day, and once in a while you get a chance to make a difference in somebody's lives, and we seize that chance. And Newton Division did just that.
Immediately, the first thing that we did here is open up our wallets and start up a collection from within all the officers.
So Newton Division stepped up, and they not only stepped up to replace what he lost, but to make it even better than it was, and they did.
A lot of young officers are new on the job and they are unfamiliar with the police commission. How would you react to questions regarding what they do on that panel?
Police Commission fills a very valuable role. It's a unique role in Los Angeles. It's one that is sought after all across the nation, and that is civilian oversight tempered by professional police management, which is what I provide. And to young officers that I run into on the street, I tell them this: I know your job. I did your job. I understand what you go through. I'm here to help you and enable you to do the best that you can do to make this city safe. I believe in you. I believe in your training. I believe that you have been selected to be the best police officer in the nation. Now I just need to help you do that.
Let me ask you a personal question. We're not talking about the officers, but let's talk about the public in general. What do you think that their viewpoint of our department is?
The vast majority of the people of Los Angeles absolutely support the Los Angeles Police Department. They know we do a difficult job, and we do it to a standard that is unmatched in policing. That's not to say we're perfect, because we're not. It is something that we strive for. And it's that constant pursuit of perfection that is the hallmark of this police department. That's why I know that we can get through any tough time. And we've gotten through tougher times than this. This is a time of national discussion of policing, and we're going to be involved in that. When you wear a uniform like the one you're wearing today, Jack, you are the center of attention in any discussion about policing. And that's the way it should be. I accept that responsibility, and everybody that wears this badge should do the same. This is a 1978 Plymouth. It's powered by a V8. I think this one's a 383. They made a lot of noise and a lot of heat, and they were even a little bit on the fast side. They don't handle near as well as what any of you drive. Their brakes aren't that great, but I did spend a lot of time in them. They're an iconic piece of history. Those are not toys on top. That's the emergency equipment. Those are the red lights, and in the center is the siren. Nowhere near as good as what you have now. Nowhere near as safe as what you have now, but that's how we did the job back then. The first generation of this exact car didn't have power steering, didn't have power brakes, had roll-up windows. For those of you who don't know what that is, look it up, and no air conditioning. You want to talk about a hot summer day trying to parallel park something as big as this in a tight, constricted city street with no power steering and no air conditioning. By the time you were done parking the car, you were worn out. I know a lot of cops are concerned about on-body video and how that's going to change policing. And one of the things that I do to put it in perspective is tell a story about the radios. In this car, your only connection to communications was this radio and the 5-foot cord that connected the mic to the radio. About 1983, when we got our first remote out-of-vehicle radios, the first time that we were able to maintain communications away from the car with anybody outside of the vehicle, many police officers were worried that that was going to change policing negatively forever. And the reason they were worried was because now communications could get hold of us at any time, and that we were never free to be out for investigation. Now, fast forward 30 years later, nobody would think about leaving the station without a remote out-of-vehicle radio. But back when this car was new, that was seen as a piece of technology that made us highly skeptical.
Now look where we are with the new Ford Explorers.
Great car. I know that sometimes we complain about the little things. Maybe the visibility is not as good as the Crown Vic was. Maybe it's a little different than what you're used to. But that is a great piece of technology. I look at each and every one of those cars before we make a selection. I personally drive them. I personally drove those Ford Explorers before we decided we would purchase them, and they're a great car. Are they perfect? No, but nothing is. Thanks for your attention to this message. Remember, I support you. This city supports you. You take care of yourself, and you take care of each other. Thank you.